Okay, Shoftim, Pasha Shoftim. B'siyat Dishmai. Shoftim is Shoftim Titil L'chol Sherecha, right? There's the legislation and the what's it called? Um, the the judge, the higher judges, the supreme judges, and then there's the police force that enforce the law. Titin L'chol. What's L'chol for you? Something special. It's about L'chol. It says later, Sim Tos Melecha Melech. Also, Alecha doesn't say Aleichem. It's something about private. That means besides the Pashup Pshat, that you have to have a legislation and you have to have enforcement, you have to put boundaries and so on. You also want to put boundaries for yourself. So let's start with the share now. The Gemara brings down a story. Okay, put this down. Okay, the Gemara brings. There's a story of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva went to fundraise, for causes, for helping people, saving people, Piddushim, all sorts of causes. And he would go around. And one year, his annual asifa, and he would go around from here to there, and he comes to one place, and there's a person there. Then right before he wants to knock at the door, he hears how the child tells the father which vegetables do you want me to buy in the market. Do you want me to buy the first class or the second class? Do you want me to buy the lower ones, the ones that, for cheaper, the ones that, it's already softer, it's not fresh, and so on? Or you want me to buy the fresh, expensive ones? And the father said, of course, the cheaper ones, go buy the cheaper ones. And Rabbi Kiva said, Oy, this man clearly fell in hard times and I can't solicit money from him. So he's told his colleagues, let's go. And he went. Later on, I don't know, they went out to the field, to shul, whatever it was, let's say Mincha Ma'ariv, and he sees the person, and the person says, "Oh, the grace chief rabbi came. What a schus, what a covered. What do we owe to that the rabbi visited our town?" And he said, my annual collecting, I collect for. He said, "So why didn't you come to me?" He says, "I came to you, but I heard behind the door how you told your child get me the cheaper before the market closes, in the late afternoon." So he tells him, no, das ist a zweite Sache. Shoftim is shoftim titel l'chol for you, but when it comes to tzedakah, ish kamatnas yodi kibik, as Hashem lekach Hashem, as much as Hashem gives you, that's as much as you give. We're very well off. But for the family, I don't want to ruin them. I once told you a story. This is quite extreme. That a billionaire, a Jew, a billionaire. Everybody knows that he's a billionaire. It's not a secret. It's official. It's not only on the internet. It's officially in magazines. It's a groisig. He was in Lvov a few times. We hosted him. Groisig. I once stopped in a Yiddish neighborhood, and I was by somebody, and I saw his son across the street. A young man. How do I know him? He came to Lvov. So I said, "Oh, like this is like the poor block. This is not the rich blocks. What's go?" She said, "I live here." I said, "You live here? Where do you live?" So the side of the street where I was the townhouses. No, I'm sorry, it was the private houses with an alleyway in both sides, front yard, backyard. These townhouses connected one to each other. It didn't look good. It wasn't fancy to say the least. And no gvir ever, nobody well off would ever live there. And Bekitsa, he even told me that he lives the first floor. That's like half the floor is a garage and half is the hallway for the staircase. I mean, you got to be kidding me. His father has thousands, literally thousands of apartments. And he wanted to teach them, don't have a lavish life. My wife learned with one of his daughters. She never knew, for 2 years, she never knew that the rich was well. They didn't boast it. They weren't haughty. They weren't gaudy. Sigavet, so batam, so baktain, so humble, so simple, yet so regal and so royal. So I don't want to get my kids all worked up, and the second they have a whole meltdown and breakdown, they collapse. I want to keep them real. Life is real, and they might come up. So let them not be spoiled. I want the fruit, the vegetable. If it's a little soft, it goes into my mouth. The palate, a little the tongue, the taste buds. And a second later, my body gets the same juice and the same nourishment. Who cares? It's the chagansa, a few seconds, literally a few seconds. But Tzedakah Rebbe Kiva, you should have came to me. She says, okay, so what? Right now he's busy. He's got to, he has obligations. But by all means, go to my wife. We live, what, a block away? Just go to my wife. Don't tell her I asked her to give a whole half a whole ladle full of dinner of. That's what Chazal teach. So he goes to the house, he knocks on the door, the wife opens up the Groiser Rabbit of Akiva. Wow. And then what does she see? So she heard, so she hears, he said, the husband asked, yeah, yeah, sure, sure. But she has, what did he say overflowing? Well, it's a difference of $100,000. It's a difference, like my brother Rabbi Yochi Bold says, it's a difference panusa or panosa. But my brother says the difference of a few $1 million panusa and panosa. The English of panusa is a few $1 million, and panosa is like just to make it through overflowing ladle or a flat ladle of the golden coins. And Rabbi Kiva says he didn't mention. I don't know. So she said, "Lo zayin." He went and brought him overflowing ladle, which is a lot more money than a flat one. And she said, "Look, he gave me a gewaldige ksuba. I mean, he wrote a big number, a large, extravagant number in the ksuba. So if he won't be masking that he gave away his money, let him take it from my ksuba. I'll take it in minus in my." Rabbi Kiva comes back and he sees her husband. Did you go to my house? Yeah, sure, we went. Thank you so much. So she gave, yeah. Did she give you a kapshel zov? Well, she didn't know if you said overflowing one or flat. No. So what'd she do? So she gave them. She said, take it off, minus it off her ksuma. And the husband was so overwhelmingly, mama, she was so happy. He was so excited. Finally, my wife is also a good investor like me. What am I going to invest in little fruits and vegetables? And in 5 minutes, I'm hungry again. This is long life investment. This is eternal. So he was so happy. He says, Rabbi Kiva, I'm going to double that ksuba. I'm going to add on so much to that ksuba. See, Mama, she made me so happy. Finally, now I proved to myself that what I thought the whole time of her, she's so tuned in to, I'm a businessman. I'm a good investor. I'm a smart investor. A smart investor invests for eternity. And that's what he invested. When it comes to Shoftim v'Shoftim Titin Lecha, be Shofit yourself. Don't Shoit Atzmacha. Don't judge everybody. And that's a very great lesson over here. Okay, now let's go to so if it's about you, so you have the Chazal teach the following. In Tefillin, right? We have a sheen of three vavs, three columns, and we have a sheen of four. Why three and four? Three is the ovis, and four the mois, together seven. So what's seven? Tefillin has to be totally a cube, a cubic. It has to be exactly, a square from al zaitin. And that's why on the tefillin shel yad we have this cover, because tefillin shel yad is usually covered over by clothing, and it can rub on a clothing, and it won't be exactly to the T. It won't be exactly square, and it's makiv, and therefore we want to keep it exactly square. We have this cover, with that hole in it to keep it, always keep it. This is open in the open. It's open. As far them have two shorosh. One is closed, one is covered. The point is that the shorosh, so you don't have to have that cover all the time. Why am I saying that? What's this cubic? This four sides, top and bottom six, and the parsha is the neshama inside, the most holy part, the holiest part. That's the seven. Then you have the seven kritas on the yad, right? You circle your hand. Three is Avram Yitzchak Yaakov, another two Moshe, another two Yosef David, corresponding to the seven emotions and so on. The seven amim that the Jews took over in Eretz Yisrael, because there's here in the Torah it says, where does it say? Uvasa. So it says when you don't know what to do, the shaila, right? Ki polum chodovel mishbit ben don ben don ben din ben nega lo nega. Come to the go up to the place. What's the place? And then you come to the coin. So what do you have? You have a time, you have space, is basic English, and you have the person, the coin gadol, all in all. So so you get the Shiva Amim is the place where Hashem chose, the country that Hashem chose. You have 10. You have another three Amim on the Evar Yadin. So that's when Mashiach comes, where Jordan is, and so on. But the point is that the Sheva, this we have the seven thing. We have the Sheen also, the Sheen here. Other people have the Sheen on the arm, on the hand, and the Sheen Dalajud, and so on. So what is the seven? It corresponds to the seven. We said it many times. The seven of the two ears, two eyes, two nostrils, and one. Why do you need two? You You have one that risks, one that's caution, one that's the ayin toive and ayin that's cautious. So you have to hear. Don't see this. There's every time. Let's. It's not about El, but for 1 second. El has anila doidi v'doidili, right? What's that? My friend, you're my friend. We connect. But do I have to trust you? No, no. I trust Hashem. I'll Devin. No, the grace of rich guy. No, he can fall and collapse in a second. But then on the Yeshua, he's got no salvation. The Ben Adam. So don't go crazy over them. Have to do with Hashem. And if he represents Hashem, no, I see Hashem in every person, the image of Hashem in every person. So on the other hand, what's Elul? Oil Rosh, oil Shchene. That's Rosh Tevis El. That means you gotta you gotta watch out. Take him as your friend, but watch out. You have two ears. What do you hear? Don't listen to everything. Don't listen to garbage. Don't be so on the other hand, don't be so gullible. Don't be so naive. So you have two eyes taking information, two ears, the nose and the mouth. The mouth you already give out compliments and support and everything else, and be thankful and okay. Singing and all shira. Now, so you have the seven over here, right? Corresponding to the seven sha'orim. You have seven gates, which is the ear, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, right? So together is seven. Shoftim you have to watch out. But watch out, but when it comes to you, judge yourself first. But when it comes to Birkas Hashem Elokecha, it's the continuation of last week's parsha. Okay. Now I want to go. There's more to say, but v'lo yisikach shoichat, right? Leisata mishpat. What means sata? Sata is skewed up. It's fadreit. It's all tangled up in like there's some truth but it's all tangled up with a lot of negativity, falsehood, and outright lying and swindling and everything else. Lisata mishpat. What means shoichat? Word shoichat is she chad. Chad is one, right? Chad means the guy that gave the bribery and the judge. They're all in the same thing. I said this many times. Uh, the in Ukraine they say that the guy the deputy of the judge the assistant comes to the guy before tomorrow's the hearing, so they come to the evening before and they say that all cards are stacked against you. I mean you have no chance. So no so what do you do? Well, I guess that's saying it. You know what I mean? This what is that? No, that's not high. That's you see how many fingers. If you give me 10 grand, okay, sure, $10,000. That's a lot of money, but you know. So he gives him the money, and he goes to the judge, and he gives him. Now the same assistant goes to the other side. Do you know that this Bar Plukta, this other guy, right? You know that he gave 10. Oy vey, so what am I supposed to do? Well, at least 10, but if you give 12, you can balance it out to be on your side. Shane, so he gives him 12. Tomorrow morning, the judge calls both of them to the desk and he says, you think you're gonna buy me off? You think you can get me with the shoysat business? Take your two back. And even Stephen, you can't buy me off. So what happened? Both gave 10. That's called mamish emes lamitoi. That's mamish. Well, I hope it's only a joke. But the point is, loisata mishpot. What is shoichat? Shoichat means the guy that bribed and the guy that received the bribe. Richad, they're working together. So what's shoichat? If you take shoichat, you take the next letter, right? The letter after Sheen is tough. The last letter tough, right? The letter after Ches is Tes. And the letter after Dalet is hey. Loisate. Sate means you're turning it and skewing it up. That's loisata mishpat. So it says loisata mishpat loisaker ponim v'loisikach shoichet kashoichet yavei nechom yisalev div tzadikim. Famous story that many times he had to bribe people and they put it against the Yidden. If the Yidden won't put up this sum of money, then we'll throw them out. So it came up to new Moshel, up to new governor on the area of where the Briskerov was. And he comes into this Rabbanus and they tell him Grois Tzaddis. This young guy came and then they macht Tzaddis. He realizes that he stands for nothing. He's not a principled person. He's got no set of values. It's just greedy, low life greediness. And he just wants to grab everything and he wants to be the head of the budget. And the Jews are totally like we saw many like you and like big deal. There were many son and much greater than you, and we overcame them. So I mean, you don't impress us. And he got so mad, so he asked his fellows, "Well, how can he hurt the Jews?" As a so that because they told him that if you'll be against the Jews, you become popular. Nobody cares about him. Nobody respects him. But so he decided to go against the Jews, but the Jews are not in his fall. So he asked his Eitzegevers, he asked his advisory. So what? So they told him if you close down the moists and whatever, then you can do them real harm. That's what they really care. You see, some people care if Hashem took away a little money of theirs, a little covet. Some people, the biggest einish you can give them is they should lose that film. They don't have film for a day. That's the biggest einish in the world for from a Hamish Yid, right? The biggest einish if his film falls down. Somebody came over to me. He's distraught. He's broken to no end. I mean, Mamish, his film fell down. I told him give 18 grivna, like chai. It's a poor person and he has what to eat. He bought himself a portion and whatever. Point is that he couldn't calm down. He won't calm down for who knows how many years. That, as I told him, sometimes this tzibroch in the hearts, Hashem loves more than a million. You feel so bad and you feel disconnected, you feel rejected, like nothing. What happened? Well, by Yid, that there's nothing worse. How many times did you have people that fell, that they were frei lahachis, and it came by the war from the Torah, and that frei Jew that was so against God. Apparently, he wasn't so against God. It's seemingly once again. He said, "I'm not stepping on that Torah. There's no way," and they shot him to death. Mamish moise nefesh. That was the frei. That was the atheist. That was the lachas is as if we don't even know what appears to us. What do we understand, B'chlal, right? So a yid that you heard when he missed, he tried, and all of a sudden he has to run to the toilet. He missed Philip Tzibur. He's going out of his mind. He's like, "Why are you punishing me, Hashem?" Other people say, like, well, what do I care if you take away my portion, my money, my bed? So everybody has their thing. So I just want to get back to the brisker. So how do you hurt a yid? So you close down the yeshivas. So he went and he said, "We're closing down." He made up a fake law that they broke the law. So what do you do? So they go to the brisker. What do we do? He says, "Shoichad." I mean, that's you have to try if you haven't. What else are you going to do? So he said, the problem is a net miskangel. So the brisker says, "This low life net miskangel. How much did you want to give him? Let's say 20 grand. Just give it to me. Where's the envelope?" They give him the envelope. He puts it in his desk. He says, "Leave it up to me." He tells his Gabba, "Please make me," say the chief rabbi, the greatest chief rabbi wants to meet his new head of the region, whatever it was in the region of Brisk. He comes to him wearing his winter streimel, these amoliga streimel, not for Shabbos, but the amoliga, these fur hats, with a scarf full, shmatas and latas, and wearing sweaters and his heavy winter coat, heavy winter boots with gloves, and he's can barely see through his eyes are the only thing, and he walks in there, and it was in the middle of August, a very hot day. I mean, they were sweltering there. Just this scenery, just to see this old rabbi. I mean, he wasn't old, but this rabbi, this distinguished rabbi, with all these shematas, and he went crazy. He says, "What is this? Silent? I mean, is this a mental? What kind of rabbi is that?" No, no, no. This is very respectful rabbi. The whole world, the responsible, everybody, Viltish rabbi. So why is he dressed like that? So they told him, ask him. So he says, "Sit down. Why you're?" She said, "My grandmother came in a challah." That what kind of challah? She came in a dream that don't be carried away. There's going to be a storm, a blizzard. There's going to be snow today, 2 feet of snow, and it's freezing. It's gonna rip. It's gonna Mamish is going to burn your face, cover yourself all over. It's that cold in the midst of middle of August. Now the guy started to laugh. He says, "Yeah, do you mind? What kind of grandmother? I follow him. So what? It never happened in the world. August in this area of the world." So the Briskerov says, "See, you don't know. My grandmother's something else. If she says she never disgraced herself, chas v'shal, he kept to word, and if she promised, every time it happened, there's going to be." So the guy says, "God, you're not serious." What happened? Is the shear on? Is the shear on?
Yeah,
I
yeah, we're
don't.
listening.
I don't see the camera anymore.
But we see you, we hear you.
Okay, so thank you. So the guy says, he's supposed to be intelligent, a scholar or rabbi. This is and you believe that? He says, "I'm willing to bet every dollar on it." And the guy says, "I'm not. I don't bet with rabbis, religious leaders." And he says, "No, I want to show you. I want to prove my grandmother. See, you don't know my grandmother. Show you the heilige grandma." So what's the deal? The deal is today by 12 o'clock, in 2 hours, you'll see a blizzard chain come on. You never saw something like that in your life. And count, uh, uh, count on me. And okay. And if there's no snow, you give me one, whatever it was, ruble, whatever it is. But if there is a snow, I'm sorry, if there is a snow, you give me a ruble. If there's no snow, I give you 20 equivalent of $20,000. He said, "I don't need the money, but because he says, no, I want to prove to you." Right? Of course, there was no snow. The Briskerov takes the envelope that he received from the Chaver, from the killer, and he goes from the Russia killer. He goes to the governor, whoever was in charge, and he comes next morning, puts down, he says, "I still, I don't give up. My grandmother's word is a word, and I don't know what happened this time, but a vote is a vote. I gave you my word. Here's the $20,000." He says, "No." He says, "Look, I still want to prove it to you. Like, next time you win, next time we'll see. Here's the thing. I gave you my," and he gave him the 20, the big amount of money. He comes back, tells his killer, "Don't worry, just wait and see." Only a few hours later in the afternoon, they get they're called in and they're told, all the gzeres about closing down all the moistus and the yeshivas and the Talmud Torahs, it's all, it's gone, it's off, and you can, by September, you can open up the new Zman, the new semester. Shoichat doesn't only work by these low lives. The Torah says, "Kashochi the aver eini chacham yisal of divrei tzadikim." It works by everybody. It works by everybody. Even, I mean, Chas v'shalom, when I won't talk about Gedolim, Lashon Hara works by everybody, unfortunately. Hoichat works by everybody. How many times did I see in my own life how people went to Rabbanan and bad mouth, and it wasn't even true, but halal, and later, Ofas Kol Al Pia, Baruch Hashem Rusiata Dishmaya. But how many times did people suffer that I know, including myself, from people just running their mouths? And they told me before, "If you don't take me, you don't hire me, right, as a specialist for something." I said, "What do you want? The sponsor doesn't want you. What am I supposed to?" And they strashed and they warned, "I'm going to go to this and this rabbi." And they showed me what kind of letter they already wrote up, totally nothing to do with me. Koichad works and Lashon Hara works. Stay away. I forgot which one of the Stolen Rebbe said, somebody that is a shakran can never do true. The whole truth is check and so on. So there's a lot to this. Let's go on. So there comes a thing. You come to the tzaddikim. There's a place, that's the Beis Hamikdash, and there's a Kohen Gadol. You come to the Kohen or the Sanhedrin. So it's not only a time, space, and also who's in that time and space. You got to be a Gadol. And if it's a Gadol, do whatever. Do as they tell you. Al pi atira shiruch vol mishpat Hashem v'taz, lo yisos manov shiruch yom in the smoil, and Chazal tease, even if they tell you on smoil that that's Yamin and Yamin on small, listen to them. So I have a thing that I explained for decades, but not everybody knows it. Our Mishpacha knows, but not everybody. My Talmud, not everybody knows this. So if anybody else hears it, it's a cute thing. It's not because everybody has their own halach in them. But there's a famous song, "Otzed HaKadosh Baruch Hu Lasis Mochel HaTzadikim," right? Chazal bring out that the Eibush will make a mochel. What's a mochel? A mochel is not an eagle. It's not a round. A mochel is a dancing circle. That means that I am on this side, and then I end up on the other side, and slowly end up on all sides. And what does that help? Right? Chazal teach Eile Ve'eile Divrei Elokim Chaim. If there's a machlokes, both are right. How could both be right? And the teretz is, if I have to get to the center, I have to get to the Mokum Hamikdash, I have to get to Yerushalayim, we daven towards Yerushalayim. If somebody is south of Yerushalayim and you ask him, where do you daven to? North. And if somebody's north of Yerushalayim, you ask him, this Rav will say south. And if somebody's east, he'll tell you west, and somebody's west, he'll tell you east, and they're all right. According to Hashem, does as everyone, and the Torah is giving to people. Hashem says Torah l'b'shamayim, and even if they get it wrong, I spoke, I think, about this a few weeks in the past few weeks, but let's just stick to this thing. Mochel tzadikim, so everybody sees. Oh, now I went to the other side. Now the Ashkenaz, and now I see it from your perspective. Now I get it. That's going to be that. There's going to be from your perspective. You have to go with this shita. Every country has their character. Aliba, why do you say this? You come from the place of din. You come from the place of Rahman. You have to be more stringent. You have to be more lenient. And then you can't billion. Everybody's got to do. And therefore, you go to your rabbi and you pick and choose and stick to it. You can't jump around shopping. You stick to it more or less. Like I said, man, it doesn't mean that you're being a makel. The Teda means you really know you. I was in a car today. So the guy says, so what do you do with this? I said, I don't know all these buttons and all these features. So if I'm in the car, I'm machmir. I'm a machmir. Why? Because I don't want to mess up. I don't know. If I push it, I might ruin everything. So I don't want to touch. I never touch. He says, well, what is this? Is a play, whatever it's called, a player or I don't know. I never put it on. I don't know how to put on the radio. I don't know how to put. I don't know. I didn't touch it. Never touched it. What do you want from me? And years, I didn't touch it. I don't know. I don't want to mess it up, and that's it. So, is that called? No, that's terrible. Not in the sense that when it comes to cover, when it comes to halacha, you should know your stuff. If you know your stuff, and how many times did I see rabbis when I asked them 30 years ago, Shilas, everything was no wrong and everything is osir and puzzle and treif and mamish tuma, and then 30 years later they came around the block a few times. They have experience, and all of a sudden they realized, oh, now they know halacha. They know the intricacies of halacha. They internalize the halacha. It's not only clear book smart, but street smart. It's Stein and Isaac. Oh, now it's a whole different story. You speak to them now, they're not makel, they just know it. They know that. How many times people came to me and they said, what about this part of davening, that part of it? No, you don't have to say it. Why? Allah you have to, this guy's just became a Balshuva who'll grab everything, who'll get nothing. You have to know how to understand every person. So you have to understand the noise, you have to understand the topic, you have to understand all the pachivkits, and you have to know your audience. So sometimes it looks like it's left and right is left. No. So what's the cute thing? The cute thing is that again, everybody should do the way their Rav and their Rebbe. By us, we do Oisa Shalom, right? We started with 7 Sha'orim, right? There's 7 times we bow down to Esav. We said it in the past, we have to bow down 7 times to Shemnesha to take that Pitrik away. And Nebuchadnezzar ran 3 steps. The Malach stopped him by the 3rd step, so we take 3 steps back to outdo his 3 steps. We take it back in order to also take 3 steps in the frontwards. So, and by Yosef Shalom, we step back also. So, again, you have this noise. Now, the cute part of is when we do Oisa Shalom b'Mroimov, we do first to the left, and then we do to Yasa Shalom Aleinu, and then V'Kol Yisrael V'Roma. So we bow down 3 times Oisa Shalom, 4 times during Shemoneh Esrei. By the first bracha, the beginning and end of the first bracha, that's twice. Moedim, beginning and the end of Moedim, Tov Shimcha, twice, that's 4, and 3 times Oisa Shalom B'Mroimov, Yasa Shalom Aleinu, V'Kol Yisrael. Now, when we bow down, we start with the left. and then go to the right. Why did you start with the right? The teretz is because Shavis Hashem and Negdi Summit, and if Hashem is right in front of me, so his right is our left. And therefore we do to his right, and then we deserve. Comes boy b'shalom ateres bala, we spin around and we face towards the same side of the Eibishter. And we said, come in. Boy kala, boy kala, boy kala. So now that when you start and stand in the same side of the Shavis Hashem of Hashem, sort of. So that's what by boy kala, boy kala, boy kala, boy kala, we do to the right first, not to the left, because we're turned around. We're facing the door. We're not facing Dar Kodesh. We're not facing Yerushalayim. We're facing the opposite. So in that sense, again, I saw other communities do others. I'm telling you a cube shot that I thought many years ago about the way Stalin does it. Let's go right. Okay, there's another topic here, but I'm jumping. He come to the land that Hashem gave to Vidishta v'shavdo v'marata, and you say Yosim Elai Melech Kol Gamashes Sivi Voisai. I want to. So the Torah says Soim Tasum Alecha again, not Aleichem Alech. You put a Melech. So what's this Melech? Well, Pashup Shat to do a Melech. Hashem is telling you do a Melech. He wasn't happy. Shmuel Anavi what said Hashem is not happy. There's another lesson here, obviously. What's a melech? First thing, a melech is somebody that you love. What's a melech? Not a moishel. Moishel is you fear. A melech is love. You start off with fear, but it's not the fear that he's going to beat you up and he's going to punish you. Fear is reverence. You have to, out of respect, I don't want to let him down. Yiddish, okay, there's a whole topic in of itself, but the point is that ultimately you want to revere him. Nagdishach v'naritzach, right? It's admiration, it's adherence to this unbelievable source of light, source of all pleasure, source of all eternity, source of all spiritual connection and emotional connection. So this is just this is my source. How can I let him down? He loves me more than anybody ever loved anybody in the world. So this Saintas Melech Melech. So you have to start off with Melech is the Rosh Tevis is Moyach. Lev is in here, but let's do for the Lev and Kovik, right? So you have three addresses. You have the Nefesh Bahamis and the Nefesh Aruchnias. What's the middle is the Lev. The Lev is the desire. You can pick and choose. You desire to see and hear and feel this or desire for that. What do you so what's Nefesh Bahamis different than Moyach? Moich that represents the neshama. The neshama is something you have the capacity and intelligence to understand that if I want this to last for the for the long haul, I want it to be eternal. I better invest in some. I better give him. I better help him. I better overflow my blessings to others. Be beneficial to others. What's so the nefesh habahamis, the animalistic nefesh wants to take, like just take, give me, feed me, give me pleasure, give me everything. And the neshama says, and what do you get for that? Nothing. You're just eating up oxygen and eating up nutrition, and what do you get? Nothing. It's like 5 minutes later, a second later, you have to breathe again. What? I'll call Nashim Talal says, no, let me praise and thank Hashem. I'm thankful, a happy person is a good person. Good person does good to others. You're in a good mood, you'll make others in a good mood, and you won't schlep everybody down to the shol tachtas, to the abyss. And therefore, when a person says melech, so you have to say melech. I'm going to be moilich. That means I'm going to do for others. It's a loving action. It's act of love. That people said, I messed up with this boss and that boss. You know what? Let's do away with everybody. Whoever is under your tutelage, whoever is under your anfei ashchina, your wings, all happy. I see all your employees are very happy. They want to be. Please accept me into your nation. Please accept me into your community. And when a Yid walks around not happy, and he walks around not in a good mood, and he walks around not with a Kiddush Hashem, people say, no, they're not interested in joining the Jewish nation. I saw a clip, mamish this week, of a son of Hamas or something, and a very short clip, somebody said, and it says, do you want to join the Jewish nation? You're fighting for the Jewish nation. A famous guy, I forgot his name, with a black beard, black hair. He was a son of the founders of Hamas, and he's fighting tooth and nail, for Hasbara, for Israel, and so on. And he worked for the intelligence. He said he doesn't want to join. There's something dead wrong about that. You're fighting for the Jews. Mamish Mesiris Nefesh. You put your life in jeopardy. If he walks into to the mob, this extremist mob, they'll kill him. Why wouldn't you want to join? My question is, who are the people around you? Who are the people around you that didn't give you that impression that the most they're fed and how come you don't want to join? Maybe you don't have this. I'm not questioning anybody, but for me, it was very awkward. You're fighting for the Jews. A natural would be out. So maybe he's atheist. I thought, okay, he doesn't want to be, doesn't want the chrayis, and then he has to pay for it. Okay, some people say, I don't want your favor, then I'll owe you something. I don't want to owe you anything. Okay, atheist. Okay, so let's go ahead over here. So it says there's three things over here, right? It says first, before the three things, it says Soim Tosam Alech HaMelech, Ashiv Chal Hashem Kechaboy, Mikerav Achech Tosam Melech Lo Yisuch Alos Yisalech Ish Nochi Asher Lo Yechikahu. Now you have to pick somebody that's your brother. Now Pashup Pshat is because you have to somebody that invested in. There's another thing over here. Many people they don't make it in this religion. We had many during the few decades we had more than dozens of people, maybe in the hundreds, that wanted to become Jewish. But the point is, I always told them, in one line, be Jewish without being Jewish. If you know what I mean? Be Jewish without the culture of Jews. Believe in Hashem and in monotheism and be civilized and so on, and you'll get your Seder Kalamaba according to media connected media and so on. But the point is that there's still somebody till today. I still get today. This is over 20 years. He calls and calls and calls. And why did I even want to hear of him, accept him? There's one klal I have. If you come and badmouth everybody else, I'm the next carbon. Who am I? I'm the Jew. So the Jew is the next carbon. And you see, everybody from any community knows people became Gerim Kesapach, not because they're frumer than us, because many times they come in because they thought in this new nation, in the new community, in the new society that I'm going to join, I won't take care of the problems I had there. I don't take care of the issues I had there. I never overcame it. I never worked up my muscles. I never overworked my entitlement or midas, whatever it was. I still have my baggage and hatred. I just bring the different community, hoping it somehow in the way it'll get lost. It won't. Hashem will always continuously give you again and again the same Yetzirah and the same Nisayon, the same desire, the same lust until you get over it. If you have to work out the muscles, you have to take away the old baggage. There's no other way. And if you join this new nation because you wanted to be head there and you couldn't be the head, so now you join a new nation, you want to be head. No, no, you got to start from scratch. I don't care if you're 40 or 60, 80, but you have to go through the system of working out the muscles. You can't spring it because right after the diet, the short diet, lost tens of pounds, and a second later you're twice as fat. What happened? You got to change the way of life. You got to change the culture with your precision and your meaning behind food. If like by us, food is therapy. I mean, it's like the most loveliest therapy. There's nothing like it in the world. But for the sweetness and all that, the sweet tooth. But if you have to change your vision, you have to change your whole approach and your whole culture, and then slowly you build it up. You got to start. You got to internalize, and it has to become second nature. You have to be, you can't fake regality. You cannot fake royalty. It has to be true. It has to be grounded and it has to be from the root. So you can't just jump in and now I'm the head. But I'm smarter than you. I'm all from it. It doesn't work that way. It has to be grounded and it has to be in the roots for years and generations until you become part and parcel of this Mesiris Nefesh. It's not something, it's exciting. Now, what happens when it's not exciting anymore? When there's no motivation? You're missing the motivation factor. Do you have the control? Do you have the ability to control and to say, I have a principle that I won't sell it. I'm not going to sell my soul out for any money. There's no killing Shabbos. There's no Shabbos off switch. I don't care if you give me $1 billion. I ain't gonna be Michal Shabbos for your $1 billion. There's something innate in every Jew that even a Poisha Yisrael, I can't step on the Torah. You can't get me to step on the Torah. I can't do that. So that's something ingrained in the person. And when you have that, you have everything already. So you say, my kid is not that from, and my kid is not. He has that. He has everything. Everything else can be worked out. You got to have that inner thing that you can't. There's no budging for no money in the world. It's a reality that it's something that generations they poured sweat and blood and sweat and toil for generations to create such a thing that we have in the Yiddish today. There's nothing like it. Okay, so it says in Torah Vaita. Amir Brachman. So it says in the Torah Vaita. Rak lo yarbelo susim, right? You can't have susim. Too many horses, too many Ferraris, and a whole garage of 20, 30 cars because now I want a speed, so I need a sports car. Now I want luxury. Now I want a big fat Jeep. And the kid said, I need a helicopter and a jet ski and a yacht. And don't get carried away. Don't get carried away. Okay. Okay, that's one. Second, and don't get carried away with women. Again, take that woman and instead of investing in 20 women, invest in that one woman and you'll have the same results, but even better. Because that's who Hashem put on your plate. The third thing is not too much money. Now Shlomo Melech broke all three, and he was 3 years in Gullus for that, right? That's I'll teach. And then he wrote three Svarim, Shira Shirim, he wrote Telis and Mishlei for these three things. What's I forgot what does the Medrash say there? The kid said there's 39 Malkis, right? 39. Let's take it to 40. 40 times 3 would be 120, right? And mine it's 39, so mine is the one from 39, one from 31. Is 170 psukim Shira Shirim to make up for these things that he broke. Now, let me go for a second. To say Shlomo Melech just he couldn't hold himself back. He needed 1,000 women. It's ludicrous. I mean, he was a smart man. He wouldn't do stupid stuff, right? So there's many pshat. The pshat that I like very much is that Shlomo Melech. How do you get to the heart of the king? The king loves his daughter more. The father loves the daughter more than anything, and the mother loves the son more than anything. It's Yidua, right? It's nature. And when the king loves his daughter, and usually he didn't have many daughters, he had that one daughter. And then Shlomo Melech was the king, so he was the Edom. Now, if the father sees that the wife is so happy with this Joe, right? And so I don't care that she converted. She's happy, and my daughter's happy, so I'm happy. And through that, less sinner. And then through that, how Chazal teach, he wanted to be, bring everybody closer to Hashem. This is time of Mashiach and so on. And he thought he'll do it that way. You take the most prized possession of every nation, which is the princess of the king. So you got the king involved, you got the king supporting it, and then the nation sees that the king loves the Jews. They'll love to bring everybody closer under the wings of Hashem. I get it. But it was L'Shem Shemaim clearly. All of that, the horses and the money and the wives. But the point is that a king, a Jewish king, the difference between a Jewish king is the Jewish king is on the bottom holding everybody up. He's the shoulder, but everybody steps on his shoulder. He's not on top. He's he's running out to war. He's not sitting in the palace, square in the palace, secured by his army and by his whatever I forgot what it's called, Kipata Barzel. No. He took everybody. He led the show. He led the army. David HaMelech led the army. He was a warrior. He was an exemplary king. So Shlomo Melech. So the point is that it's not about a regular king in the world. I've got everything, and he grabs everything for himself. It's all about me. Everybody serves me. A Yiddish king, I'm serving everybody else. I'm being exemplary king. And the main thing is how the Torah says, "Levilti rum levovi me'echav." He shouldn't be haughty. He shouldn't be a show off. He shouldn't. Okay, I'm not. There's something lekavschus. There is lekavschus. And What's kafschus? Kaf is a shoehorn, right? Kaf is like a spoon. A shoehorn, you got to stick it in. I'm trying to stick it into the shoe. I'm trying to fit it in. It's pretty difficult, but I'm trying with a shoehorn. That's done the kafschus. 10, 15 big fat jeeps with all the lights and sirens because Rabbi has to, I saw a big Rebbe in today's day. I'm not going to say names because that means the other rabbis are not like that. Everybody. I saw a big Rebbe. I'm talking a Rebbe that has over 50,000 Hasidim. And I saw him, there was, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 buses with his group that he came. It was less than 5 years ago, I think. Let's say 5 years ago. And I was with him in Primishla. And we come out, and I don't see his big fat chief with the police escort that I organized for other Rebbes. Now, some other Rebbes, a whole entourage of 10 cars, 10 big fat jeeps with lights and sirens and everything else. And he came with clearly, I don't know, 1,000 people. He came with a big island. And I didn't see all that. So I asked him, where's his car? I'm walking him out of the building at and we're walking. He says, a guy with the bus. Bus? I never, over 30, I never saw such a thing. I'd ever gone with a bus with the oiler. But he's apparently, okay. Okay. So I walk him down the block, which is a 2, 3, 4 minute, I don't know how many, till the main road. And across the street, near Plan bus. The bus was like 30, 40 years old. It was an old Tzitz Schmata bus. I mean, it was embarrassing. I have a bus license. I drove buses. Not for a living, because we had more than 8 passengers. And here in Europe, if you have more than 8 passengers, not like America, you have 14 passengers, you can with a regular car license. I had to get what is it called, CDL, whatever, because more than 8 passengers in the van. So it was a Shmata bus. It was so embarrassing. The Hasidim went with the most fancy, luxurious buses, and the Rebbe with his close group went with a Shmata bus sitting in those chairs with tzezets that were so eaten up. It was embarrassing. It was breathtaking. That you go on many trips, you do that? Yeah, you go by bus, whatever. Now, does he have a fancy car and sirens? He does at home. But my point is that if I want to be done the kapschus, the Hasidim, they need it. They need a show. They need to see king. They need to see royalty, and they need it. They need it. Some people need it. For them, the eyes, and then the eyes. They have to see the show, and then, okay, forget it. Mach nicht weg. But it's mamish a breath of fresh air when you have a tzaddik that comes. Just one car, you need it for security or police escort, 100%, but not the whole fanfare. Another levilti rum levovi me'echov. No, you don't have to schlep for me. I don't need people running in front of my horses, like the Gemara says the rich guys needed that. Well, Pasha the rabbi, I'm a Yiddish Shemayim. It's so refreshing. It's so inspiring when you see Levilti Rum Levovi, when you see a Jewish king, and you say, "Wow, wow, you're bringing Yerushalayim, greediness. You don't want. I don't want to be a king like you. I want to be one of the Mesharsim because you inspire me. I want to be under your leadership." Right. So, okay, there's more to say. Let's go right. I'm skipping. Um, you know, there's about yeah. Uh, okay, then it's koisim some moinu menachas mechashe b'choy v'rechav b'shol oyev v'yedoini v'dori shel ameisim. And unfortunately, you have many people that do that today. I'm not talking about the chochmas hayat chochmas apartzuf. I'm talking people want to know the future, and they go to all these left, dark tuma, these powers, especially v'dori shel ameisim. Yeah, there's a lot in the army, unfortunately. I don't want to talk, and they call dead people. It always ends up terrible. But the Torah says, "Yisavas Hashem kol Yisraeli," it's abomination. Uvaglad is Hashem lekech moed shoysim mipenecha, and therefore Tom tiyem Hashem lekecha. Fregnish kankashas. Now I want to get back to Tom Hashem lekecha. I want to finish off with that, because that segues right into every topic we spoke about here today. And it's loisas manel by shigo yom the is also that topic. So we'll get to that in a second. But I want to just go to the next. Okay, I'm skipping a lot, all about the Shaloshorim and there's Eidim Zayman and Hasagas Gvul and so on and so forth, and Zayman after that. And then the Seitz Elocham Alevecha, you're going out to war. Loisim, don't be afraid. Why? Because Hashem is with you and He'll protect. And now there's the Koyin Amashuach, the anointed Koyin that comes to the war, and yeah, and it says the following. Now you're coming to Muhammad on your enemies. Don't be afraid, because Hashem goes with you to fight them to 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 save you. Now, here's three things and then one more. If you build a new house, what does that mean? You build a new house, but you never lived in it. You don't cut the lentil, you don't make the Chanukah Sabayis, you invite all the friends and show off, and okay, sure. Same thing is with the field, a wine a garden, and so on. Third, so you have the first one, right? You build the house, but it's what is it? What is that? The next one was V'ish acher yichalelenu, and the third one was V'ish acher yikachenu. Now there's 2 points over here. So it's painful, but that's nature, and we have to know. We have to be cognizant of it. It doesn't say. Okay, let me first go to the second lesson, then we'll go to the first. And then it says, because I like the second lesson even more. And then there's a fourth thing. Where is it? Now the shaitrim, what does that mean? Soft-hearted? What does that mean? Hayori, you're afraid? So the Gemara says, yeah, he's Yorim Avedis Shiva. He's got Avedis. He doesn't feel to be protected. So such a person, you have the Chattas and the oil in the base of Migash, it's in the same place. Why not embarrass the person? People should have known that the guy brought it as a Chattas, right? He's guilty. He has to bring a Chattas. What do you have to besmirch the person? What do you have to? Don't judge his religiosity. As v'shalom. How many stories? There's so many stories of Gedolei Olam that said, buy him the thing, buy her the thing, buy her the car, the gadget, the whatever it is, buy. But they're off the derech. But they're not going to keep Shabbos. Unconditional. Show them love. In other words, Zaya mentioned, don't jump on the neighbor. No, that's unacceptable. But I'm not going to judge your religiosity. Your frumkeit, I'm not going to judge. Your spirituality, I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to embarrass you, Barabim, because you're not on the same level. Not yet. You're having a crisis, an inner crisis. I'm not going to embarrass you. So what do? You create three reasons. Well, what do you know? Maybe it's not that. Maybe he's not a Balavadik. It's none of your business. Maybe he's going back because he built a house. You know, if he built a house, over here he didn't build a house. Maybe he built somewhere else. Now, maybe they married a few wives then. Maybe he has his Eris Ishan and Loila Kocha. He didn't marry her yet. He didn't cohabit with her yet. So none of your business. Maybe he has a kerem, a wine. Maybe he's got some deal over there, and he didn't have a no. He didn't have any pleasure, and maybe you can never know. You can never know. He built or kerem or marrying, betrothed a lady and he wants to marry her. So don't judge. That's the second lesson. Now let's go to the first lesson. The first lesson is the ish acher. That's the problem. If his or her cow dies, is such expression here in Lvov, his cow or her cow dies, let the neighbor's cow also die. You have, it's in nature. Chava says, what? She ate, now she's not eternal anymore. That means death is going to come upon her. He says, so what do you mean to say that Hashem is going to provide Adam with a different wife? So I'm sorry. If it's not me, it's nobody. In other words, if she has to die, he fed him. He comes home from Koilel, so to speak. And she said, no, she gave it, she told her it's kosher. She bought him the Jewish butcher, and he ate the kidding, but you get the gist of it. And he ate from the Eitz Hadas, and that's it. Now he's doomed just like her. It was greediness. It was jealousy. It was if she dies, he has to die. If she can't get him, nobody gets him. You have Shlomo Melech. You have a few cases in the Torah. Yeah, Shlomo Melech. She lost a child. They come and Shlomo Melech says, "Let's cut the child in half and right, give half and half." So the mother says, "No, chas v'sholem. Don't cut it. Let her take it, but chas v'sholem." So what the other lady doesn't want to cut it? Does it make sense? Put her in a mental asylum. Put her in Bellevue in New York. What's shot? How could she say she cut the kid? She's not saying cut the kid. He's saying that nishmich is yenem euch nicht. If I don't get it, nobody gets it. So in that sense, if acher yikochena, somebody will take my wife. No, that's not going to happen. Somebody will take my house that I toiled. Somebody take my kerem, my wine garden that I toiled. No way. So when you sign up to the army, you know you're putting your life in jeopardy. So you know that. So if you're aware of that, so what's your problem? The problem is, Yena, somebody else will take it. No, 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 no. That can't happen. So so his whole morale falls and collapses. His whole morale, and he'll drain everybody out, and he'll let everybody down with him, and there's no morale for war, and there's no way they can succeed. If you don't trust in Hashem, if you come with a bitterness and a brokenness of greediness, and you come in, the whole room feels it, the whole brigade feels it, and nobody can succeed. You'll pull everybody down to show tackles to this. So Yelich v'Yoshebes, let him go home. Let me just finish with one other topic, and then we conclude with Tamtir Mashem Lekecho. So the Torah says the following. The Torah says the following. The very last paragraph. I said this many, many, many times, but probably every year. It's so profound. Now, it's not war. He fell because he fell. It's not, if it's war, they know who killed him, the enemy. But here, we don't know who killed him. They have to measure who's the closest one, who has the Christ. It's in the periphery of a town. So you want to know which town? Who, who it's in the outskirts, so it's still concluded, it's like in the fields of that town, who's it belong to this town? Yeah. So and the Ziknir take the Eglas Boka, right? Shaliv Bo, because this person didn't leave over any Kaddish, didn't leave over anybody, and it's very tragic. And so you bring a eagle that also didn't leave over any fruits and so on, and any descendants, right? So and then they take the Nachal Eson, and then the Orphus Egla, they knock off that. And then it says the following. And they say, what does that mean? We didn't pour its blood, and our eyes didn't see it. And then they ask, what does it say over there? They're asking for forgiveness, and they said, so here I prepared the Rashi, famous Rashi. And where's the Rashi here? Rashi says, so fragt Rashi, the famous Kasha, but he also leaves. Does anybody in the right mind can think? the Zikna Bezdin are what's it called? They're blood spillers. Elo loyrinu ufitranuha beloy mezoinus beloy levia. Loyrinu, we didn't see, and we didn't patter beloy mezoinus beloy levia. What does that mean? What does that mean? This is a bomb. We didn't pater beloy mezoinus. That means if you would give him a sandwich, a nachamo. I didn't see. If I would see, I would be guilty of that. I didn't give him a sandwich. That means he died of hunger. So he would have his sandwich, he would have his doggy bag, he would have what to eat, and he would open his bag, right? Like this Hasidim that I eat kosher that was schlepping in the suitcase handbags, and after they have the shopping bags of all that they practically bought everything in the snack bar. Besides just the owner, they left it so he can make some panos also, but they had the whole store, mamish, the whole whatever's kosher, understand by the gas station, they took everything. And in the airport, whatever the coach in New York, JFK, they took every snack that had some. Now, and this has more, the mileage these snacks get. You take it and come back, take it, come back. And the mileage, all the sforim, the heavy sforim that you take, you don't even open one of them. Okay, some people do, they fall asleep on it. The point is that if you were to give him the snacks and the sandwich, the kosher ones, then he wouldn't die. Okay, naniach, get it. What's a second? So Rashi says, ufutranua, right? We didn't see even though beloy mezainis uveloy levia without levia. What is levia? Levia is walking four amas. I'm sorry, 2 amas. That's 4 steps. That's 2 meters. That's 4 steps. So if you walk 4 steps, yoitza levia, yoitza accompanying the person. Is that enough? Of course not. Is that going to save his life when he's missing a sandwich? That's the kasha. And here's the teretz. I don't remember where I read this. This is probably way over 20 years ago. Probably. That's what I remember. I've been saying it probably for 25 years. I didn't remember, but many years. There was a Navy SEAL, one of these big ships, a few blocks long. It's 20 stories high, 10 stories high, whatever it is. I don't know. You can Google it. And he by mistake fell down. Falling down from such height into water, ocean water, it's like falling almost on concrete. It's like dead on arrival. But guess what? He somehow survived. Now a Navy SEAL can swim pretty well, but guess what? Not in freezing cold water, not in these tremendous waves and powerful waves. So let's say he can last. They're trained for something. But he lasted, I think, 24 to 26 hours. I think I remember 26 hours. And what did he do? He took his pants, his outer pants, he tied the top of it, and then with the 2 feet, he tied one side also, and the bottom of like the sleeve, he blew in, and when he filled it up, he put it around his neck, and he laid back, and he was floating. And then when it went out, he did it again. He kept on doing it again, and that would keep him above water, so sort of, and would splash all. But they said, "How did you keep for so long?" Now I don't know the details. Maybe it was much less, but here's the point of the story. He said just before that, he was supposed to be there about a week before or something. I can't remember the details exactly. But he wanted to be, he was supposed to be, and his little child, what was it, 4 or 5 years old, whatever it was, the child says, "Daddy, you told me you're going to come." And the kid cried and he said, "You didn't come for last year's birthday. Please, that. And he promised, for months, he's promising, "I'm coming for this birthday. It's, let's say, 5, so it's a round number. I'm coming, I promise." And he calmed it down. And then he didn't come a week before. And he said, "No, but I'm going to make it. I'm coming a few days late. Something happened. There was a difficulty, but we're coming to shore. And I assure you, I'm going to make it." And he said, "I couldn't let down my child, my only child. He loves me so dearly. I fought and fought and fought more than I can ever know because I couldn't let that little child down." That's Beloy Levia. If you give the person the feeling that you care, there's somebody that believes in him and cares for him, and there's nothing like this message, please, when you come to your destination, please give me a call. I'm worried. Please give me a call that you made it. if just imagine a chassan and a kala, and they tell each other, please, when you get them, worry, please call me. That feeling is enough to fight for life. You'll fight, fight, fight. You won't give up that fast. And you're hungry. He died from hunger because he wasn't willing to fight for life. Because who cares about me? Nobody cares. Nobody misses me. Who's gonna miss me if it? That's the murder shot here. So now let's go back to what time is that? I don't even know. I want to go a little bit, but I want to go a little, a few stories of Tomim Tia B'Shal Gerach. Sei nicht kanoi b'chachem with Hashem. Start off with a little story. There's a kid, 12-year-old boy in Bnei Brak, Down syndrome. He loves that toy. His mother went in for something else, but he saw that toy. He wants that toy. He wants that toy. And he just can't get enough of that toy. And the mother says, please put it down. We don't, this is expensive. We don't have the money. We're barely making it. It is like almost 200 shekel. He, a Down syndrome kid, for state money. He knows money, 200. He doesn't know. She says, Mommy, I want to buy it. She says, yeah, I also want to buy it for you. I didn't have money. Maybe a different time. He said, no, but I want it now. She says, well, what does a Bnei Brak mother say? Davin, what can I do? If Hashem would give me, I wouldn't buy it for you. So a plita spare, just she blurted out, Davin Tashem. And the kid took it literally. And he went to that toy and he stood there and he screamed with it in his own, whatever nusach. He said, Hashem, please, please give my mother the money that she can buy the toy for me. Something like that. I don't know if she said the money, but please make it that the mother should buy it. When he davened, very sincerely, people looked on who nobody had the money. Everybody's coil. They didn't have the money. So unfortunate. And yeah, I wish the story went that there was a gvir or a lady that had the money and she schlepped it, pulled out a credit card and swiped the thing and it's on me and this is my mitzvah. Or the store. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. So they walk out of the store. He's very broken. But Down syndrome kids, they see new guys. They got to be the center of the attraction. So they came to the lights and they're waiting by the lights, and a car pulls up of already on pension, an elderly couple, and with a better car, and they look at the sound Down syndrome and they smiled, and the Down syndrome boy starts waving and waving to them, hi, 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 like a clown. And it's something about those innocent eyes, the real warmth, that something hit them. And the older person opens his window, schleps out a 200 shekel, and it says, Titen et ze li'ima, give it to your mother so she can buy you a toy with it. The mother says, no, 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 you don't have to do that. And the mother starts crying. And the man says, what happened? He says, my kid just davened. I just wanted to get him off my back. So I said, daven, and he davened. This is literally a minute later. He gets the 200 shekel to buy him a toy. She was overwhelmed. She couldn't believe it. Now she has the older couple crying. The light turned green and they said, wow, we never believed that tefillah works. This Freya couple said, you changed our lives. Maybe we should start praying ourselves. And they drove off. Now, I want to get to another story. You have a lady, a Haredi Orech Din, a lawyer who works in Tel Aviv, one of these, fancy firms, lawyer firms. He gets the best clients, the most, famous tycoons, and he takes care. Very big lawyer. She's very well off money wise, and he has a beautiful family. Everything is mamish knakedik. I mean, like it's a dream. Everybody's jealous. What's her mitzvah? She's very kind. It's a lady. She's very kind. Right. So she took it upon herself. Every elderly couple that has issues with the pension or bituach leumi, medication, whatever it is, anything that they fight for the rights, mimul de memshala, towards the government, that the government should give them what comes to them. So this lady went to a couple, elderly couple, And she went up to the floor, and there was a parking underneath on the first floor, like so she parked there. There was only one park in the corner. She parked there, and with a big fancy Jeep, somebody came and parked nearby, but she was literally it was very you had to squeeze out. So she driving is not her biggest skill, so she was afraid it was too narrow. There's nobody there. All of a sudden, a guy with a little Toyota 25, 30-year-old car, you know, beat up jalopy, and he comes in and everything is like hanging and falling apart with a lot of tape and a lot of rope, but the kid says, Mom's galoshes. And he's obviously looking for parking, and she sees him, waves him down, and he sees this lady, so he gets out. Yes, what is it, ma'am, madam? He says, I can't get out. Could you help me? Could you drive? Yeah, so I'm not experienced in driving. I'm driving for years, but this is not my thing. So he says, yeah, no problem. Now he sits in the car. He says, give me the key. She says, no key. What do you mean keyless? And so how do you turn on the motor? He says, the button. So he pushes the button. Doesn't know. You got to put your foot on the brake. Oh, and he goes, oh, whoa, all the lights and everything. And whoa. She says, "What are you so?" No, I just, I'm not used to it. I mean, everything is broken, and this is so comfortable. I was like, I'm good now. I can't. I'm touching myself. Is this real? She says, "Oh, I'm sorry, but could you help me? I'm really in a rush after you." She says, "No problem." So he didn't stop that in his jalopy. He got to push down, and the motor thinks the old computer thinks for a few seconds until it starts working, and then you got to push and shove and over here, garnished, everything is so power steering, and he touched it. The guy started to fly, and he slammed it on the brakes, but not fast enough that he just swiped through that pole on the right side, and then the whole front bender. I mean, the whatever it's called on the side, he just practically scratched the mamish out of it, dented it in. He was so his aniklach aren't going to work have enough money to pay for this a new part. But in any case, but she was in such a rush she couldn't. She had a very big meeting in a court case, and she says, "Get it out, just get it out." He says, "But help me, tell me if I'm this." She helped him the right side, yeah, 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 and he made it out through that narrow place. Now she took over, but he says, "No, no, no, but I have to pay you." Okay, so, but I don't have time. He took down her number. She took down his number very quickly, and she went on her way. 3 days later, she doesn't call him. So he calls her. He says, I'm waiting for 3 days. You should call me. Uh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, what do you want? He says, well, I have to pay for it. I don't know. Could you tell me how much it is? She said, I went down. They told me 3,800 shekel. That's $1,000. And then it was 1,000. Today it's more. But $1,000. He like, fine. I guess. He can't even afford an extra 100 shekel a month. He's barely making it with him and his wife and kids. Look at the car. It says it all. So he says it's an assignment in Shemayim, and with such a hava to Hashem. Hashem, thank you. Probably I was supposed to chas v'shalom and lose a limb, and you saved me with this damage. Monetary is garnished, and he asked her, please, if I can do it installments, like 100 shekel a month, and she says, no problem, on the phone. And he calls her back, but we didn't make up when and where. Where are you going to be? Tell me which city, which town. Bnei Brak. Oh, I'm in Bnei Brak every day. I pass by. I do the old clients and sure. So they make up, and he comes with 100 trampled shekel. He schleps it out, tries to straighten it out. Doesn't even look good. It's out of it, and he wants to give it to her with such positivity, such a hava, accepting everything that Hashem does behava. And she's all teared up. She's crying. And he said that I insult you, and if it was chas v'shalom, I never meant to. She says, no. You think I need your money? I'm rich. I got a lot of money. Money's I never think I make a lot of. I do the biggest. I serve the biggest companies, the clients. Believe me, $1,000 for me is nothing. But I came here because I couldn't believe I'm dealing with clients for decades. I never saw somebody with such emunah, such simple satayim. I have everything. I have a beautiful family. I have all the money and health and nachas and everything. My kids are in yeshivas and the schools and seminary. They're all doing great. Good shidduch. I never saw a person, nothing. So happy, such amunah, such connection. I envy you. I never saw such a thing. I deal with the worst and the best that I never saw. And she's crying. She says, I'm not going to take you 100 shekel. A matter of fact, the reason why I came to meet you was something, a different reason. I decided that my car costed $1,000 to change that piece, that part. I The lesson I got from you, I learned about a moon and connection. I said, Hashem, I also want that connection. I'm missing that deep, deep connection, my neshoma's connection. I crave. I'm working. I have naftas, but I feel it's just not tuned. It's not aligned with you, Hashem. I wish I can have a fraction of what you have connection to Hashem. And she said, look, I want to be your partner. So she said, I'm going to pay you twice as much now. And she schlepped that envelope that she prepared. Here's $2,000, but I'm not done. Every month, give me your bank account. Every month, you're getting 2,000, twice as much as the fender bender that I paid for. You're getting every month. And the deal is, I want Hashem to give me that connection. It's Tamim Tiyam Hashem Alikesa. Go with him between mystic. I want to continue a second. There's a rabbi, this, I don't know, Rabbi Zilberstein, I think it was, I can't remember now the details, but there was a guy that, very Knaka, one of these lobbyists, the Askonim, quote unquote, they by their chasana, they don't see a chasana. They see the chasana as a, or some people, unfortunately, their bar mitzvah child or their son, daughter, or their own chasana, they see it as a venue to get as many rabbis and government officials or whatever, askonim, the greatest knackers of the world. So they go, they invest a lot for years. And when it comes to the wedding, they come and invite them and give them a present and please come to the wedding, be mechazik and so on. And the entourage, the public malachim over there. So the most important part is the pictures. I mean, you got to show everybody who came. And put it on your status, and everybody should see how chashuv you are. So for such a person, that means more than the world. And therefore, when he made up with the photography, he said, "No, I'll pay twice, whatever I'll pay whatever you want, and get me more work because I need every official and every rabbi and every politician and every grace ask, and I need them all the pictures." So the kids, okay, shay. So instead, whatever it is, $10,000. For regular, it's $1,000 a night or 2,000, whatever it is. Now it's $10,000. Sure. It comes Lamaisa. He gets back to pictures and missing half of the guys. This politician not there, that asking, these rabbis weren't in. The main people you missed. What do you mean? I didn't know exactly who's who. Yeah, you should have told me. I could have got 100. I could have gotten 100 people. My friends would have told you who are the real players here. Who do you took pictures, some people. I don't need those pictures. Thousands of pictures, but the main thing you didn't do, kids, they go to the entire. I'm going to pay you the amount that whatever. The Torah said you have to pay 60, 70%, whatever they told him. And they said because Lamaisi hired all those people, he has to pay them. He didn't do such a good job. Well, you'll know for next time. I don't know. Maybe on his third marriage, he'll probably get it right. I'm just kidding, but that's not what I'm saying. Because the marriage for him doesn't mean anything. It's all about himself. So I don't know. But the point is, the Av Bezdin, an elderly rabbi, tells him, listen, you're right. You're right. He didn't do a good job. He messed up big time, big time. You'll have to have a kid and a pidyon aben or something, and you'll have to make it up. Maybe your son's bar mitzvah, if you can wait that long, whatever, your son's wedding, your daughter's wedding, okay. But the point is that the rabbi tells him, look, I know the photographer. He doesn't have money. He's barely making it at the end of the month. and he has to pay everybody. When he finishes paying all the people he hired, and he's left with nothing. He waited for this night. You have all the money you need. Yeah, you're well off. For you, these few $1,000 means nothing. Literally nothing. You spend, I don't know, $1 million on your wedding, whatever you spend. What's this few $1,000? Garnish me, garnish. I tell you that if I my experience, many people lately don't have kids. Many people don't have kids. So many people have problems with the psycho the and therefore if you do lifnim mishuras din, you're not mechuyev. You got your way paying this money. You be mechaya yid. Give him a good word, and I promise you, bezu Hashanah, you'll have a kid. Ben Zacha. He says, "Ich hab mein eigene Rebbes. I've got my own Rebbe. I've got my own rabbi. I need you to give me brachas." Michael Toyes, I came as the Torah, monetary issues, Choshe Mishpat, thank you, but no thank you. Shame. The guy training to be a diet that's writing the protocol down like a secretary, he jumps up and he grabs the cool moment, Ace Rotzen. He says, Rabbi, you know I don't have money, but I'm willing to borrow money, but I have money in the account for something else. He says, please, can I write out the check this second? Rabbi says, why would you do that? You're not a sponsor. He says, but I have a sister that doesn't have kids over 10 years. So please give me the schia. And for that, the promise you gave him, give to my sister. She says, okay. So the Needin over there, right, is it gets you have both sides still in the building, and he writes out the check quickly for the rest of the money and the difference, whatever. Yeah. And he gives him, and he gives it to the guy. And the guy says, well, you don't have to do it. He gives him the check, and the guy goes. So the rabbi wants to give him the bracha. He says, stop, 1 second. Well, this Torah I brought, he's got nothing with this Torah. Who gives him the permission? I mean, who is he to give money the difference? He got envious. I want the bracha. I'm the chassan here. I'm the one that hired him. I'm the whole meduber here. How does he get into the picture? No, it's a. He took out his phone. He said, "Give me your account number." He forwarded the $3,000. His rabbi, leave him alone. The bracha is for me. I want out. You're right. For a few $1,000, it's worth it. Why do I have to worry? So now there's a Torah between both of them. What do you do? So the rabbi said, look. And so the younger man that's training him to be a diet. So the younger man says, look, I'm a vater. I'm a vater. A good character. I see this guy is adamant. I'm a vater. So the rabbi gives him a bracha that he should have a kid, with Hashanah. And then he says, but look, the fact that you paid it out the beginning, Shova Toiva, the Rotzen Toiva, and the good deed, he reimbursed you, but you paid it out. So the rabbi says, he takes his two dayanim with him, and he says, we're giving him a brach with the ganze heart, the schus, that he foot the bill, and beschus he was a mevater, this double header. Your sister should have a ben zacher bezu hashana gesundheit. Fast forward 9+ months, that couple, that sister has a ben zacher, has a baby boy, mazel tov. He finds out about it. He's not a happy customer because his wife gave birth too, but like a week or two later. He says, Rabbi, how could it be? I got the bracha first. Why did it? The rabbi says, because he gave the check first. Before you gave the check, you saw him, you envy of him, so then you grabbed it back. He didn't have to give it to you because he paid it, but he was mavata. So he's what? He got it before you. One more story, and then there's a boy. The kid's a fine boy, above average, but he's in Lakewood Yeshiva. In other yeshiva where you were Mesifta and the beginning of his medrash, you above average. When you come to me in Yerushalayim and Lakewood in New Jersey, I mean, above average. Tapoch in that yeshiva, that's a lightweight. That's the juniors. It's the little league. It's not the main. It's not the So now in Lakewood, how good you'll be. There's always a bunch of people that kind of they're better. They have better fanfare. They know they're more popular. They know how to sell themselves well. The kids. So this boy finds the dream girl, not him, his parents. And they think this is the most. How do they know? They know him from work and they know him from relatives. The kids, it's mamish, the best of the best. So they go to the shotgun, and the regular bill is $2,000 for a shotgun. They tell them we're not rich over here, but we're willing to give you $10,000 if you can pull off the shidduch. This is a shidduch for us of a lifetime. Okay. The shotgun tries. He really, really worked hard. He gave it every effort, and no. Why no? Because like we're girl, everybody's running after her. You're top boy, but in Lakewood, top boy is not top boy. In Lakewood is always more top and higher top and better top and a notch higher and a caliber higher. The kid's you're not good enough. The Bocha is distraught because he knows the family, they know that family, and she goes to his room. He sits a few minutes, then he goes to Ma'ariv, and by davening he says, "Rebbeinu Shalom, you did it to me. It's so painful. It's so hurting, and it's belittling. It's degrading. I can't face the father anymore. I can't face her brothers. I can't face the grandpa. They rejected me. They denied me, and it's mamish. It's so painful. But you did it to me. It's not them." So he breaks down Balakainitzor and he says the tefillah that usually doesn't say. And he says, I shouldn't be jealous of others. Give me the koyach. It's too painful. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. And he starts crying. And he puts the siddur. And he's crying there for a few minutes. And then he feels lighter. He feels better. And he says, I'm taking a besimcha. And you know what I'll do? My chavrus is much better than me. He's smarter, more knowledgeable, refined. He's much better looking. I think that, you know, let me give my chavrusa the chance. It's painful, but I'm going to do it anyway. He was Mavro Medaisiv, comes home to his father. He says, call the shotgun, offer to my chavrusa. You crazy? You out of your mind? I'm going to call the shotgun. They just rejected me. He's going to think I'm running after him. He's not going to answer the phone. Please, so write him a message or something and then call him. So they wrote him a message. I have a different shit. The shotgun calls back. And they say, my son came home and he said he might not be good enough. Everyone says, Brian, you won't regret. Mama is the miles. So the shotgun calls up. That's very nice. And the girl says, what? We just told him no. What he wants to get, no. The father says no. He says his chavrusa, not him. What? I just told him no. I mean, you told him no. The chavrusa, he's offering his chavrusa. He's not insulted to no end. He's not totally depressed. The father said, I don't know. He takes apparently he's taking a bahava. Wouldn't you say that's the most incredible midas I ever heard in my life? And she says, Tati, mommy, please. I never heard of such a story. I want to meet the boy. And they made up a show, they made a date, and they met each other. And it turns out that was the best thing for her. I don't need top, 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 top. He's the top for me. For me, it's perfect. I have to go through trial and error after marriage to find out who really is when I see a story. Why ain't I? Proof in the pudding. I'll never do a shidduch like that. That's the best that I can ever hope for. And they met again and again and again. It's going to shidduch. Shalom al Yisrael. So Tomim tia Hashem Elikecha. Yichap apach. Behav. Mavram lidaisav. I know my daughters personally. They have daughters, Baruch Hashem. It's true, Baruch Hashem. They do shidduchim. And for years. And I know many times when he didn't go for one, let's offer it to somebody else. No envy, no greediness. Mava Midaisa. You get all the brachas in the world. Tamam Tia Mashem Aleket. Thank you very much for listening. And maybe she should give us all the brachas and all that slachas. I feel good gebencht here.